So that
Trying to make sure you have a valid link. There we go. No,
still no?
no,
All
no.
right, here I'll do a new link.
Do I
Okay.
have to change my email to match my YouTube?
I'm blown away. I mean, it's never asked you to have a login, and this is.
Uh-uh.
I'm sending you one. It's called New.
Yeah.
I just created a new one, so.
That looks different. Putting everything together. That make it look different. Here I go.
Yeah, because it shouldn't have been asking you for a password. So. I don't see you in here yet, but.
No.
Okay, now I see you.
There I go. Look at me. I'm like, oh, I'm alive. I'm drinking my milk.
You gotta.
Yeah.
All right, so
All right, here we go. Do, 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 do. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. It's okay. No, I'm not. I'm fine. Great.
well, we don't have to talk. Why do I
Oh, here.
have an
I'm
echo?
hanging up on you. Yeah?
Okay.
I'm hanging up on you. Are we live?
Oh, and I need to adjust my camera. Hold on.
We're live. Now, does this mean if I look at my YouTube that I'm live on there? Is that what that means? We're like checking stuff
Oh,
out.
wow. I think I knocked it out of the park for a first camera adjustment. What's with this hair?
Perfect.
All right, so we're doing this every Thursday, generally at 6 o'clock. Although we were watching Tucker Carlson, or listening to. I wasn't watching. I was working on stuff and listening. So we might not be on here too long today. I don't know if anybody's coming in or not. But every Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Time, we're going to get together and talk about oddities. And I'm going to talk about neurotransmitters, which is the latest thing that I'm nerding out or geeking out.
What's a neurotransmitter?
Well, GABA would be one of them, and that's one of the active ingredients in Regenerate, which is a product that I sell online, designed to put GABA in the brain, which is 80% of our neurotransmitters are GABA. So if we're deficient in GABA, our brain is deficient. And poor microbiome, gut microbiome, alcohol consumption, benzodiazepine consumption, and certainly other pharmaceutical consumptions will lower GABA in the brain. And
Of course
GABA
they
is
do.
what puts the brakes on your neurons. So if your neurons communicate too fast, you'll have things like anxiety, racing thoughts. So getting GABA, which is my favorite neurotransmitter, into the brain really, really can help people. So Regenerate, 18 ingredients, synergistic blend to get GABA into the brain and get people into a parasympathetic dominant state. Anyway, so but we're going to get together. We're going to talk about all the things. We're going to start off on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Instagram. I'm working on getting the TikTok linked, but so far I haven't been able to, even though I have enough followers to do so. But,
You got a ton of followers on TikTok.
Yeah, I don't, maybe. But
Maybe you do.
I don't know what a ton is. But yeah, so then as the conversation gets goes into different directions. We'll drop out the Facebook because that'll have to go right away. We'll drop out the Instagram. That'll have to go very quickly because of, Zuck. And then we'll drop out the YouTube, and then we'll have to drop out TikTok then. And
Oh, you're saying because you want to talk about some stuff.
right, so we'll talk about as much as we can on all of the platforms, and then as time goes on, we'll keep reducing the platforms until the back half of our Thursday chats are going to be all on Rumble, because that's the only place that we won't get kicked off of talking about the things
that we talk
that
about.
we always seem to get onto.
What do you mean?
And then, and X, so we'll be on Rumble and X, so we don't have to drop off Rumble or X. But the other ones, well, I would imagine maybe 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 at the most, and then we'll be on just Rumble and X.
So are you on your Facebook and YouTube right now? I mean, and Instagram?
We are on, I don't know if
Look
I
at
can,
you. We're doing tests.
Yeah.
Like, how's my audio?
yeah, this is kind of a, let's see
This is
here.
a, this is a testy testerson.
Yeah,
I had some
we're on-
dreams.
So we're on your YouTube, my Facebook, what's the next one? Your YouTube, my Facebook. It's so far away on this screen. I think that's Instagram.
You're like, where are we?
Then we're on my Rumble and my YouTube. Although it looks like I have some work to do on the Rumble because it said unable to connect.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. So we're on everything but Rumble. We're on X right now.
Hey, X.
We're on X, YouTube, both YouTubes, Instagram.
I'm going to share you an X.
Yes, okay, so
You
just the
can find
Rumble's
you.
just the Rumble's jacked up. So
Okay.
I'll work on fixing that by our next Thursday because we're
Hey, so the
we're
workbook that I wrote inspired by you so that I could follow you is literally live now on Amazon just today. It just came today.
nice.
So excited because I needed a way to follow what you're doing, what I've learned to do from you, of like getting my body healthy. I needed a calendar.
Yeah.
I mean, I needed to follow it. Like I need an action plan. I need to write it down. I need to and it happened today. So that's fitting. We just went live. Warrior life plan.
You gotta send me that link. I want to check it out.
I'm really excited about it.
And that's a digital
Owie.
thing, or that's an actual.
It's a book. It's like an actual.
So Amazon will send you the book.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really neat.
And it's 500 pages. I mean, it's no joke.
What's the price on something like that?
$30.
Okay.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, it's
Here,
affordable.
I'll put the link.
You know what? I did need I haven't bought a new planner for 2024.
There you go.
Because I also believe that the new year starts in March, not in January, just because it makes sense that that's when the new year would start. And plus, we used to have 13-month calendars of 28-day each. It makes a lot more sense than
Right.
this mishmash of 28, 31, 30.
True.
Right. So March is really the first month of the year if you go back to way back in the day before. a lot of-
Yeah. Well, it's
Corruption.
get it today, and you'll start in March.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I got 50 days before my year
I'm
starts.
excited and I was on with a bunch of ladies tonight talking about you, because I talked about how Regenerate has really like put me in a clear. And I did some today. I might actually turn red. I did a little bit, but I just noticed a huge difference getting GABA to my brain, and nobody knows about GABA. And what I
Yeah.
find fascinating is nobody's talking about how, or not. Let me take that back. We are talking about it. How all these meds and stuff take the GABA out of your brain.
Yeah,
Of course
yeah.
it does.
Well, the number one is alcohol. Alcohol and benzodiazepines are the biggest smashers of GABA in the brain.
So that's why it's good for hangovers. So if you still drink alcohol, you take the Regenerate.
Right,
Now-
because the anxious feeling, the anxiety or I think the kids today are calling it scaries, the Sunday scaries. You know, after you drink Friday and Saturday, then on Sunday you have the scaries. I don't know. But yeah, it's because your brain is depleted of GABA.
So we need to get all these like working men or these guys who are just drinking all day. GABA.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's 18 ingredients in it, and the other, it really is synergistic. It works significantly better than just taking GABA. But if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not prepared or not ready to buy Regenerate, you know, well, send me a message. I might send you a sample, or you might even get a bottle if you send me why you want it and how it would help you.
That's cool.
But what was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
Regenerate.
Yeah, the you can definitely just start taking GABA. Just know that it won't make an impact the first time that you take it. You have to take it over some time.
Yeah, like 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks.
Yeah,
More.
yeah, more. Just stick with it, and then if you add niacin to it, it helps a lot. That'll make it faster, but it's still not going to cool off an inflamed brain and a low GABA brain like Regenerate will, because it's multi-pronged. It's also going after, it has a bunch of supplements designed to boost liver function and general health, there's a souped up vitamin C that's bonded with the fat, so it actually absorbs well.
Do I get my new bottle soon? I want those little packages. Do I get little packages
I,
to
I,
share?
I've lost my poster, but and it is, if you can fix that shipping thing, it'll go out ASAP. It's just the shipping is jacked up on Loot.life right now. But yes, I do have a bottle for you and a bottle of Loot that I need to send out.
Woohoo!
But yeah, the shipping is jacked up. Yeah, so I don't know. We just have such a wide, but also I don't know. We always have interesting conversations. That's why we decided to do this. So I don't know. I guess we're both.
Well, did you watch the Tucker Carlson thing?
That's what I was going to say. We're both kind of cooked from listening to the whole Tucker Carlson.
I didn't listen to it. I was trying to. So
trying. So what happened? I was watching it, and then the video feed dropped out, and then I found another link that just had audio. So I was trying to fix this live feed stuff that we're on now, get the Rumble set up, get the TikTok while I was listening to it. So I wasn't 100% focused on it, and I want to watch it with the video whenever that gets posted on X, because I want to see. I just think it's an important enough interview to actually want to see the body language and the facial expressions.
Yeah.
So I am going to watch it again. There was no way for me to rewind it on the source that I was listening to, and then the last few minutes, kind of interesting, where he started talking about soul, and he was also talking about left brain and right brain and the integration of the two sides, which, it's right up my alley for the stuff that I've been researching for years. So it was interesting for him to talk about that. He went into the history of Ukraine, which he didn't go back far enough to the Khazarians, which I was hoping he would. Although I tuned in a little bit late, so you may have started with the Khazarians. I was like 10 minutes late to the stream.
Hey, Brother Sean, Joe Ernest says.
Hey, what's up, Joe? How are you seeing that?
Looks like Facebook.
Oh, you're on the Facebook. Okay, yeah. Yeah, what's up, Joe? Joe, you have to join one of these on one of these Thursdays, because Joe has got a lot of this stuff put together of what's actually going on. And he's not afraid to speak his mind. And he speaks well and gets his point across. So we'll have to have you on one of these Thursdays. We're doing this every Thursday, Joe.
Well, what we were talking about tonight is like, okay, we can all freak out, and we could all freak out about all of this stuff and then get back into our sympathetic nervous system.
Mhm.
Or, which is what I'm working on, you stay focused and you keep doing what you're doing and you keep getting healthier.
Mhm.
Because it's
Well,
like,
then, to point out one more thing about what you just said, nothing is new. I mean, Eisenhower talked about this in 1960. Everything that the country was hijacked in 1960, and
yeah.
then JFK was killed, and then Robert Kennedy was killed shortly thereafter. Nixon, which had the most votes of any president to that time, and he had the largest margin of victory ever, he got impeached. So the will of the people has not exactly been important to the red, white, and blue for a long, long time. So just because you're waking up to this now, and now that makes everything super scary, well, just chill, because it's always been like this.
Yeah.
So nothing has changed recently. This is how it's always been. You're just becoming aware of it now because of the powers of the internet. So yeah, there's no reason to freak out. Um, all of this stuff has been going on for a long time. So
But
it's
people that were my friends, or they've run away from me scared because I showed that I had a Trumpy bear. Is that your music?
Do you hear that?
Yeah, dude, it's like a party going on outside. La 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 la. They're coming for you.
That
Come on,
is
Joe.
so. That is so spooky. Like,
Hey, la la
is
la
that?
la.
Are you sure that's on my end?
Not on mine. I live out in the country.
Can you like chat about something for a second while I look for what that could be?
La, la, la. Yeah, sure. Oh my God. So, hey, Joe, you coming? Are you on Regenerate too, Joe? Have you taken it? Man, that stuff changed my life. Look at me now. I've been on his Loot and Regenerate for ever since I met him. Well, actually, that's not true. It took me about a year to listen to him. And I finally did. I am like off of all pharma because of this guy, and I feel better than I ever have. And I'm in my 50s. I mean, Jesus Lord. What's happening? Yes. Regenerate. What is it? You have a party outside your house? What's happening? Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry. Let's talk about it. I haven't tried it. It's something I'd consider. It is really great. I'm telling you. It gets like, you get real hot. Like, so it's GABA. GABA, what he was just saying, but he's mixed it with these 18 other ingredients. It was originally to get his girlfriend off of benzos. And so it gets GABA to your brain fast and you get hot. The first time you take it, you might poo-poo yourself. So take it at home because you do this flush. And then there's this wave of heat. You get like hot. And then there's just clear. It's just clarity. I have not ever felt that kind of clarity. I think it's kind of feels like you're little. But Sean was like, no, it's actually then you're in your parasympathetic nervous system, and that baseline does feel kind of high. You're not high. You just
I know
you
you always
feel.
say it's like being high without being high.
It's like
Or
being
no, you
high
say-
without being high,
Yeah, which doesn't
or
make any
drunk
sense.
without being drunk.
It's just
That would be terrible. Joe and I are buddies now.
yeah. I don't know. It's hard to explain it. There is a clarity. There is a peace that comes with it, and then there's a bunch of Chinese herbs in it too, which really are impactful as well. Rhodiola is one that's in there, which improves athletic performance.
I take it before sex, Joe. It makes it great. Shot of Loot with some Regenerate in it.
I've never tried that, but that sounds that would probably get the job done.
Because
There's
it's like,
a lot of blood flow boosters and Regenerate to get the GABA into the brain, and blood flow boosters. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
lost in the blood is it? Blah, blah. Yeah.
I couldn't find where that noise was coming from, which is even more spooky. So, but, making sure that none of my phones are on. But I it sounded like somebody was like drunk outside
La, la, la,
my
la.
house, and now it's gone. So I
Weirdo.
got it. Just I'm just gonna hold on to
Yeah,
this.
exactly. Nowadays, god dang, yeah, right.
But
I have a pow pow now. We're not going to talk about it though.
yeah. So well, like I said, this we're gonna do this every Thursday at 6 Eastern, 7 Central. Anything you want to talk about on this abbreviated late post Tucker Carlson, or anything on Tucker Carlson that you heard with?
I came in a little bit late like you, and I heard him talking about the Ukraine. I get distracted because it was, instead of text, it was
Yeah.
he was
Oh,
dubbed.
dubbed. Yeah, I was
I
kind of
don't like
frustrated with.
dub.
I was kind of frustrated a little bit with Tucker's questions, although I understand, you're talking to Putin, so, but, and Putin was very diplomatic. Like some questions that Tucker was very pointed and asked, Putin shifted and slid around it. And then some of the stuff, is he was saying that Zelensky is in control of Ukraine, and that as the ruler of Ukraine, he should be able to end this war immediately, and that he's ready to. And he was essentially saying Zelensky needs to step up and talk to him and end this. And that's when Tucker was suggesting that the West wasn't allowing it.
Right.
Boris Johnson and Biden administration.
Because they're taking the money.
And he just scooted all that to the side and was just like, Zelensky's the president. Let's talk. Zelensky and I. So, so that kind of totally doesn't acknowledge the fact that Boris Johnson was sent over there to rip up the agreement, to cancel the agreement. So it was interesting, and again, I wasn't fully paying attention to it. Unfortunately, I'm going to watch it again. But I wanted more out of it. I really wanted more than I heard out of it. But maybe I missed something.
But what the hell is up with him?
Did you watch it, Joe?
Did you watch it, Joe? And what the hell is up with him being a traitor for making? I don't understand.
Who's a traitor?
Oh, all the libs are saying like, "Oh my God,
Oh.
Tucker Carlson is a traitor." I'm like, it's called actual journalism.
They got ahead of that and started accusing the propagandists started accusing him of being a traitor, and so then the SEALs are gonna clap. He's a traitor, traitor. They haven't had an original thought in their life. They just do what their group identity tells them to do, and.
I just lost friends.
And I think it's dumb to have hate for those people, because a lot of people have a lot of hate for those people. That's
Who's those people? Russians?
The people that will just clap like a seal.
Oh, you mean the liberal women?
Yeah, well, the propagandized liberals, because they're in a state of stress, they're in a state of fear, they're in a state of anxiety. And they don't want to be kicked out of the group so bad that they will literally parrot whatever the group tells them to say.
True.
And so because they don't have their own thoughts, their own ideas. They haven't worked out who they are. The Japanese 3 faces, which I talk about all the time. They have multiple faces.
They
They're
say
different
the same.
people in front of different crowds. They're different people in front of their family as they are their friends, as they are in their coworkers. So they just don't know who they are at the bottom of it. And they don't want to be kicked out of a group. So it's like when people say crazy women, and I'm like, women aren't going crazy, they're being poisoned. Everything they put on their skin, everything that they're putting on their hair, all the Starbies, all the bad food, they go vegan. They're not crazy, they're poisoned, they're nutrient deficient. So that's why we're seeing a lot of oddities out of everybody. Men and women these days. I mean, people are going, RSTLNE and rainbow flags everywhere too. It's part of stressing out,
But they say so the liberals that I know say the same thing about the red states. They're all dumb. They just follow suit. They believe. So I lost friends, honestly. I mean, that's been my like, hey, what do you want to talk about? I was just testing because I'm coming out in my own shows and like my own travels and my plan of what I want to do in this world. And part of that was being really honest about my own faith and my like me, just me. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
hide. Like I'm just one face. And I have a Trumpy bear. I bought a Trumpy bear from years and years and years ago when it was on there was an ad and I thought it was a Saturday Night Live skit and I thought it was so funny. I bought it. And I have one. I had the big one and the little one. And I thought I would just test. I was just gonna test like, hey, what are y'all gonna say if I have a Trumpy bear? And I literally friends ran screaming.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
screaming.
Yeah, because they can't even entertain understanding why you would support, like, or even enjoy that thing
I think it's
because
awesome.
they don't want to get kicked out of their group.
Trump is a comedian, y'all.
Yeah, he's like a stand-up comedian.
Trump is a comedian. I find him to be absolutely hilarious.
He is funny. I mean,
Honestly,
all of his nicknames, Rocket Man,
I think he's
Pocahontas,
so funny. And
I mean, all of them, they're so good.
the Hillary Trump debate was one of the most entertaining things I've maybe ever seen. I
Mm-hmm.
loved every minute of it. I would just laugh. It was just
Because
like
you'd be in prison. Yeah.
he cracks me up. And so I have I got one right here. Where is he's over
Yeah.
there? Anyway, my point is, I got these horrible like, oh my God, Angela, what are you okay? Are you okay? And meanwhile, I've been taking Regenerate. So like not only am I only okay, I'm so clear and like clear,
I-
right?
Yeah,
And it's like I'm beyond okay. I am okay.
yeah. It definitely helps you recover faster from like an emotional reaction.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and the
go
real
ahead.
zinger was I was like, well, y'all have a problem with me having a Trumpy bear. How about this? Here's what I think is weird. Pedo Pete.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
And
know.
everyone says
We're allowed to say that on Facebook.
you're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to say that. It's like not true. Or what are you doing looking at the internet? And I'm like, it's on the
What are you
laptop.
doing educating yourself?
It's on it's like, and also like there's all kinds of things with him with kids. It's like, I don't know. I know perps. I've done it for 20 years. I've been in the trauma and
Hmm.
recovery world. I know how perps work. It's like, yeah, y'all can get mad at Trump all the time and say like he's a narcissist, but it's a different kind of perp.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm like, so for me to point out, listen to the kids, y'all. Listen to the kids. Listen to the children. Listen to the children.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. When your son has you in their phone with a nickname of Pedo Pete,
It's weird.
it's kind of weird. And like,
And also
you know,
his problems, his emotional problems, his drug problems, his
right.
issues, plus the
And
granddaughter and
yeah,
in the shower.
yep.
It's
The
very
diary.
suspicious.
And then you can kind of
It's
have an
suspicious.
idea. I'm not saying this is across the board, but strong parents lead to strong children. And look at Trump's kids versus Biden's kids, and
Granted, the wife did die early. Like his
mhm,
wife died tragically, so I think that could also send you down a
sure,
path. But
sure.
it's just a little odd. The
Trump's
tattoo is
ex is
weird.
dead too, but it wasn't early. But Marla Maples died.
Oh really?
Yeah, but the kids might have been teens or adults when that happened. But yeah, yeah, that's a red flag when you're
It's a red flag, and I just put it out. I just said it like, think about that. Like I'm talking like just from trauma. I'm like, I come from the trauma world. I think that's weird. As soon as I see that, I'm like, and I got, oh my God, I can't talk to you ever again. I want no association with you. Oh my God, you're in QAnon stuff? I'm like, I don't look at QAnon. I don't even know how to look at I don't even know anything. I've heard about it. I have
Mhm.
friends that I like hinted that they're in it, but I'm like, I'm not a part of anything. I'm not a part of any club. I'm just observing.
Right.
And so I'm
Yeah.
not allowed to observe from my own educated, actually expert opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't
It's a
want
little
to.
weird.
they want everybody in the group, just like they wanted everybody to take the experimental gene therapy.
So my
You
one
know,
friend, the only one that I was like, I don't know if I'd show Abba Trumpy Bear because she'd be really upset by that. And I just did it, and she told me to basically cut her out of my life.
mhm. It's not surprising.
And I
Being
was
part of
like,
that group is the most important thing. I mean, think about it though. You're in a state of stress. You want to be part of a group, and to have any information that comes in that might make you
fall
think
in line or fall
that
out.
that,
Yeah.
that group is bad. I mean, it is a cult. There's a few cults going around right now that people don't talk about. The cult of pharma, not many people talk about, although
Karma.
it's busy. It's getting bigger and bigger that people understand that that's a cult. Um, the cult of red and blue team. Both on the red side and the blue side, there's people that's part of their group identity, and they're not in it for eyes wide open views. They're in it because that's their group that they identify with. Just like how some people identify with the sports team.
I know.
Hmm.
Although if you're going any color, you go red, people, if you want to win. Just FYI. I've been to every state, done every highway.
You're
If
talking
you
about
want to win
girls.
anything, I'd go red.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of victim mentality on the blue side,
Oh my
which
God.
is just useless. You want to talk about a mind virus that infects and kills? Victim mentality infects and kills.
It's bad. And I thought people were getting better. I really did. I really thought like people that I know like were elevating, but I mean when but then I started to look
That's
and
why
I'm
it's a spiritual warfare that we're in. We're under a spiritual warfare, because you get more bad news, more bad news. Life gets harder. The dollar goes shorter distance now. I mean, it's turning into pesos up here. So then it's
I
real easy
noticed.
to fall back in, and then especially when light is low in the winter, because light is so important to having a positive mental attitude.
I thought about you. My daughter sent me this little video like where you could monitor the light. Do you
Mm.
have one of those? That looks like something you would have. Like it was like it monitors the light in the room. Oh, you got
Yeah,
one right there. Literally got one right there, I bet.
right here.
Do you really? That is so funny. I want one of those. So
They're like
you
$30 or $50. It's not
oh my
bad.
God.
Yeah,
It's
I forget what lumen I didn't set up the lights well tonight. I look like both red and white at the same time, but
it's so cool.
it's 420 lumens right in front of where I'm sitting.
So when you go outside, it's like 20,000, right?
I haven't tried it out. I haven't had it very long. I haven't tried it outside. I am going to try it in front of my red lights, and I'm going to try it outside. But the reason why I bought it is to get these lights tuned, which they're still not right, but
Hey,
it's
so
better than it has been.
speaking of you being an expert, like
Mm.
and knowing all this stuff, let me just use myself as I'm gonna ask you some health questions if you don't mind, and maybe
Yeah,
other
sure.
people I have these things.
Hmm.
Uh, one is breathing,
Yes.
like asthma, and it's getting much better.
Hmm.
I'm not on the Buterol anymore. I'm not on the nebulizers. I'm not on the puffer that's $300. Um,
Ridiculous.
I'm on just Loot. I take a little sip of Loot or a sip of black seed oil.
Hmm.
I don't do Loot every day because it's
Hmm.
pricey, but I also I keep it as my safety. It's my
Hmm.
it's my backup. Now, what do you
And
think of
and
everything else, like Mullen and all that stuff?
so the loot too. I think what I don't have asthma, but I'll get hoarse, and then when I'm doing my bike rides, one of the reasons why I do them is to strengthen my voice. So I refuse to use a megaphone or a speaker or anything like that. And just a little bit of loot, if I kind of gargle it just a little bit, it just reduces inflammation in the throat so
That
much.
stuff is
So
gold.
I'm just saying, if you're not swishing it and gargling it, you're missing out on some of the best parts of loot.
I've been
But
doing that.
so Mullen, you know, I've I've read so many great things about Mullen, and I've taken it, and I just don't feel a big impact. That's not. I mean, so many people say it works great. I still take it when I have some kind of stuffiness.
Mm-hmm.
I have it, but I just don't notice a huge thing. I notice a huge thing with black seed oil, a
Yep.
huge thing. Um, I notice a big thing as far as hoarseness because I can get a little bit hoarse with deuterium depleted water, but that's quite pricey. Um, and that has to be shipped in from Russia as well. There's not any place that's making deuterium depleted water for consumers in the U.S. that I'm aware of.
Wow. Talk to Putin.
Yeah, you had to talk to Putin. And all deuterium depleted water is, water is H2O, and in every molecule you can have a varying amount of neutrons. So it's proton, neutron, and then some people say electron, although other people say that electrons are everywhere at once. I'm actually in that camp. So I believe that atoms are protons determines what the atom is, whether it's oxygen, hydrogen, sodium, gold. The number of protons determines what the element is.
Traitor. Joe's funny.
Traitor?
Traitor.
Who's a traitor?
Because we
Oh, because
mentioned
we're
Putin.
talking about
Getting
Putin.
water. Putin.
Anyway, so hydrogen without any neutrons is deuterium depleted. So a neutron and a proton weigh the same amount. So H2O, there's two hydrogens. If
Yeah.
you remove the neutron from both of those hydrogens, the water molecule is significantly lighter. So that's the brand that I drink is Light Water, and the type of water that our bodies produce from the sun as part of the ATP reaction is deuterium depleted water. That's our body's preferred water. So when you drink it, it boosts your health. And that's another reason why sunlight is so good for you, because sunlight creates deuterium depleted water.
What about
And you-
lobelia for
yes.
respiratory stuff? What is that?
So
What-
so that stuff, I believe, is for smoking cessation.
Oh,
It's
like stop.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to tobacco in some way, maybe in the same family.
I'm gonna go get it right now.
But that has to do with, and maybe it does help with the lungs as well. But it's great for smoking tobacco cessation.
Cessation is getting off of.
Stopping. Stop.
Is stopping. Cessation.
Cease, yeah, to cease.
You cease it. It's a vocabulary day too. Cessation.
And then another thing that I'll do for my sinuses, which are connected to lungs, is I have a salt air. So it's kind of like a diffuser or a humidifier, but it's designed to put salt water in. And so it diffuses salt water into the air. This is why when you're near the ocean that your respiratory problems get better. It's because of all the salt in the air.
Also, your hair. My hair is great with the ocean.
Yeah. Like hair skin gets better in the ocean.
Really does.
It's medicinal, although it's medicinal. But you got to be careful which part of the ocean you're in.
So not with the poo poo.
Yeah, last time I was in Florida, I was in the ocean at an Airbnb that I was staying at, and then the lady's like, "You didn't go in the ocean out there, did you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Well, the river dumps right into that ocean, and it's super polluted." I was like, "Great."
Great. Little poo poo goes right by you.
No
Great.
wonder why nobody was in the ocean there.
What about I'm thinking about all the things because I want to go through my medicine cabinet with you of just like
Yeah.
not when I say medicine with my all my herbs and stuff. And when the COVID first started, I got everything respiratory because of asthma because I was high risk with asthma, but there's no way I was getting that poison because I did my science fair project when I was 12. I knew what was up, so I'm like, you're not touching me.
Isn't that crazy? Like how many people have still can't get that their doctor just doesn't know. They don't know. They don't. I mean, how many people have chronic illness now? It's ludicrous. Like it's just ludicrous. I don't understand how people.
Also, anybody who says it's a pangolin and a bat, I'm just like,
come on,
seriously?
ridiculous.
Really? I mean, I write movies, right? And so it's like when there was a 5-day blackout in October 2019, in the movie, as you write the movie, that's the part where the guy walks out Same as when they killed Epstein. When the video suddenly went out. That's the
Yeah.
moment. It was
And the
October
pangolins and
2018.
pangolins and bats don't even
Hang
live
out
together
together.
or in the near.
I'm just
It's
like,
it's just absolutely ridiculous.
but
But I mean, that's the thing.
anywho.
The part of the thing is, if you get into karma and some groups of people's belief in karma, the story has to be so outrageous that you should be smart enough to know that it's
Made up.
bullshit. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Because, but anyway, instead of getting like into like, this horrible stories of the truth, it's like,
Right,
how
but
did we live
now do
through
we
it?
have to cut some of these feeds, or are we going in a direction where I got to cut some
No,
of
no,
them?
but no,
All right, so
staying into
just mind
breathing.
your vocabulary. Okay.
Stay in
All right.
breathing. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so I looked at all the things for breathing. I got the whatever I just said, libilia. Then there was um oh shoot, is it? I'm just gonna go get it. I'm just gonna go get it. Get it.
Yeah. And she's going to go get it. Yeah. Oh, she's bringing us with her, but no mic, so it doesn't help. Um. Yeah. It's black seed oil is huge. That will really help a lot of people. It also jams the ACE2 receptor, which there's been a lot of fanfare about the ACE2 receptor lately. Cleans your mucus, which can make joint pain lower. Black seed oil improved my sense of smell. So what you got there?
This was on the list, wild cherry.
I've tried tart cherry, and I don't know if wild cherry targets the same thing as tart cherry. I haven't noticed much from cherry. But there's so many genetic differences in humans. I know, like, for example, like I said, mullein. So many people swear by mullein. I don't notice anything with that.
Well, I've been
So,
taking wild cherry, not like tart cherry juice, and mixing it with Regenerate because Regenerate has that like supplemental taste to it. So I
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
I put it in tart cherry and put a little ginger beer in there. And it
Okay.
turns into the beer that I really, really like that I haven't been drinking because I've been drinking Regenerate.
Yeah, that makes sense because Regenerate is kind of bitter because of the Chinese herbs, but not
Mm-hmm.
terribly bitter.
That's
I
not
mean, for
terrible.
me,
But
yeah, I can drink it straight, no problem, but I could definitely see a little something sweet and tart mixed with the bitter would give you a robust drink.
well, then I
Yeah.
don't chug it because usually you just put it in
Yeah.
water and chug it. I put it in one of those big travel coffee mugs, and I put
Yeah.
I like a big old chunk of Regenerate. I go like a big, and then I do
Yeah.
tart cherry, and then I added that cordyceps mushrooms you told me about.
Yeah,
Cordyceps.
so eventually I'm going to have Regenerate AM and a Regenerate PM. And in the AM blend, cordyceps will be
It's such a
star.
good coffee. Right?
Yeah. Well, because if you're accustomed to being in a sympathetic dominant state, then you're running on stress hormones like
Why are you
cortisol.
talking about me? I'm just kidding.
The
I
whole
haven't
deal.
been that way. I'm good.
So then when you switch and you rely on cortisol created by your body to be awake and be energized and energetic, you need something to pump you up when you're getting out of that. And cordyceps, I just think works so well. I don't know, what's your experience mixing cordyceps with Regenerate?
I've been putting Regenerate, cordyceps, a ginger beer or tonic. I like ginger beer better with tart cherry. And so I can sip it for
Yeah.
longer so I don't chug it. And I do find it to be more energizing. And if I sip Regenerate, the heat stays.
Yeah, I get it.
So I can stay when that kind of elevated heat. I like that feeling.
Yeah, because rather than blasting off so hot that you got to take a knee because you're using a bunch of scoops,
Exactly.
you're
You just stay there.
keeping a nice, instead of going to a boil and then
Yeah.
having to cool off, you're going to like 160 degrees and then just maintaining whatever temperature you like.
And you know what I did? I had to, because I just wrote my calendar so that I could follow you fellas that had gotten all this shit together. And in my 24-hour day, part of like, okay, stuff I got to get done. I got to get my meat because I'm not eating crap in the stores anymore. And I've got to get my milk, my raw milk. That requires effort. You got to go find it. You got to go pick it up. It's not at your local store. So I have to go on a
Meat is
trip.
easy. Yeah, the milk is hard.
So I have to go on a trip to get my milk. So when I went on the trip, I made my mom and I little
Mhm.
travel canisters, and we do it every Thursday morning.
Oh,
And
regenerating on the way
yep,
to, you know.
yeah. So
Now, there's an app called Shire. If anybody wants to find raw milk, it's called Shire, and
what?
that'll connect people to find raw milk providers in their area. It's all legal here. I get only legal milk. I own part of a cow in Tennessee. That's how it's legal. And anybody can own part of a cow here because they sell a part off of it cheap. And then you can, since you own part of the cow, you can drink the milk from the cow. So that's how it works.
Oh my God, so everything is just so dumb. Speaking of, just side note, because I know that you're getting all your stuff like together and seeing like where you put it all to send people emails. That's a perfect email to send somebody. Shire.
Oh, yeah, so they can find
Just
their,
like, hey, find your raw milk, just Shire. Like that's like
Mhm.
I'll teach you all that I know, Obi-Wan. And what like my email list is like so
Yeah.
honestly, if you just did an email to us every single day, I would be so appreciative. Because then you save
Yeah.
it.
Well, I
It's not
think what
lost
I'm
on a
gonna do,
social post. It's not on some video.
I'm
You
gonna
know,
do video, like a video thing with a brief write-up of what I talk about in the video. That's my plan.
it's good because
So we'll see.
honestly, I call you. I don't call any doctor anymore. My kid is sick. I call you. If I'm like, oh, I don't feel so good, I'll call you. You
Mhm.
know, because like as soon as I talk to the doctor, who like, well, did you get your shot? I'm
I'm
like,
interested to see if you're gonna try that breath trainer that I recommended to you at some point.
oh yeah, I'm gonna look it up. Hold
I
on.
need
Let me
to.
send it to
I'll
you.
resend that to you because
I
um, I just have a theory that asthma, um, if you strengthen the diaphragm, that you'll reduce your asthma. Because if your
strength.
diaphragm can't move all the way down and all the way up, it could have fluid in the lungs. You could have like a little pocket that
Oh,
you're not
guaranteed.
fully exhaling, so you're not fully inhaling. I'll
I,
send that to you again.
I have it 100%. I think my breath is like, my voice has changed. If I when I look at my old videos since I started doing this work, my voice is more it's deeper. I had somebody ask me if I was
Yeah,
transitioning.
but you just the difference is when you're a better breather, you speak with more of your voice. The
Yeah.
same thing happened to me when I mean I started studying breath work because of yoga stuff, and my voice changed too. It's like more
Oh
full.
yeah. Can I make a request? Is this because my push in life, my like resistance is with
Great.
yoga.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people's resistance.
So
I just sent you that trainer.
so when are you gonna teach yoga? Can we just do okay? I study now with this amazing lady. I freaking love her, Shonda. She does the list builder. She's so damn smart. She's so ridiculously rich, and she'll tell you like certain things to change with all your business in the back end. But
Hmm.
she always says the whole time, I cannot guarantee this is going to make you money. I can't, but if you do this, you might become, I cannot guarantee this makes you money because, somebody's going to be like, I did it and it didn't work. I
Yeah.
just think it's really funny if you were doing yoga. I can't guarantee you I'm not a yoga teacher at all, but this is a position. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like we're
Yeah.
just tricking the system. I'm not because to get me to start doing yoga, oh God, I'm wearing the straps. I am wearing
Yeah.
the yoga straps religiously. My posture is way better. My
Yeah.
breathing is better.
Yeah, yeah, because you had rolled forward shoulders,
Why are
like
you talking about me?
like everybody does,
Well,
and
it's yeah, laptop time.
right. Um, so yeah, wearing those yoga straps, I'm sure is really
And
helpful.
breathing. Goes back to the
Yeah,
when I can't breathe, I have to go like this.
mm,
So it's been training myself to go like this.
right. Curling in, it shrinks your breathing container
Makes
because your
sense.
rib, the area in between your ribs, is collapsing. But when you sit up straighter, then the area in between your ribs is expanding, and your lungs are behind your ribs. So it just makes sense. One yoga thing that I just don't study like vinyasa or like the popular American yoga. I did Bikram, um, Tana Bikram, or Hot 26 as it's called, which is the same 26 postures done in the exact same cadence, um, and 2 breathing exercises in a 105-degree room at 40% humidity. Some of the rooms that I was in would get up to 113 with higher
Yeah.
humidity in that. So it just beats into your being breathing. Because even when you're not gassed in there, you know that you have to pre-breathe to not be gassed later. So you always want to maintain all the way in, all the way out, all the way in, all the way out, in a peaceful breath. It's not about hyperventilating. Or like, you're not going to breathe faster to make yourself better later. It's about keeping in that state of calm, staying in a parasympathetic dominant state so that the stress hormones don't come on and then take your breath away as well. And then Iyengar yoga, which is very meticulous and very, it's not just like do triangle pose, it's about how to rotate the legs, the arms, the torso, so that you're doing everything correctly. So the one thing that I'll mention to you if you have a block on yoga is just start with pranayama. Pranayama is breath work. And the easiest one, and this is also the one that will calm you down, work for anybody to calm them down. Just try to extend your exhales. Always through the nose, never breathe through the mouth. Mouth is for eating, nose is for breathing.
Wim Hom, like Wim Hom breathing?
Wim Hof
Hof.
doesn't care. Wim Hof breathing, he says, mouth, nose, whatever, just get it in, get it out. But he's trying to hyperventilate, essentially. And then if you hyperventilate all the way, you can pass out. And then that can kind of feel great and can kind of reset things in you. I did Wim Hof for a while. I like it.
My daughter, of course.
11 minutes to do Wim Hof. But the thing that I'm saying is just exhale longer, not harder, because anytime you try to muscle through, you're restricting the amount that you can breathe out. So it's about slowly, consistently, at the edges of breath, breathe out more without straining. And that's a form of pranayama. And then you do that for a while, and you do regular inhales to you. And then eventually you can extend the inhales peacefully longer and extend the exhales peacefully longer. And you can reduce the amount of breaths per minute that you do, which is beneficial to a lot of things. It improves CO2 tolerance, which people vilify CO2. CO2 is a gas of life. If we run out of CO2, we're screwed. And if you don't have enough CO2 inside of you, you can't move oxygen around in the body properly. So it's about having CO2 and oxygen in the body, the proper ratio.
Breathing in general is like...
And then nose breathing builds nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is one of the key components for making you strong like bull, and also
I like both.
And also engorging areas of lady nether regions. So the more that you breathe through your nose, the more that you'll build nitric oxide. And if you say, hey, but I can't breathe through my nose, that's the first thing you have to fix. That's like the number one thing. If you can't breathe through your nose and you're trying to get healthy, you got to figure that out. That's like number one.
Step one.
Be number one priority. Get like a saline nasal spray. It's called alcohol. There's no alcohol in it. It's on Amazon. That's my favorite one that I found. It's got a bunch of like.
Is it a nose
herbs.
opener or something? Alcohol?
I'll send it to you right now.
Okay.
I sent you the breath trainer already. It's spelled weird. I think it's pronounced L. Cool.
Look what I got.
It's spelled. No, that's not it. Yeah, okay, I got it. It's spelled ALKALOL.
Why are they so mean
Why are they so mean? Who's mean?
with these weird spellings?
Yeah, it makes it tough. But it's just a bunch of herbs. It does not
Nasal
really.
wash.
It does not really feel great.
I
when you
can't
do it.
imagine. Do you do it in a neti pot?
So I bought a little sprayer, like a thing that you can, put in your nose and spray and breathe in, and it burns a little bit, but it definitely opens up the nasal passageways.
Wow. So I love learning all this stuff from you.
Yeah. So that's well. I mean, I'm happy to to talk about it because
Hey, it's been
I was working for a Fortune 50 company. I had platinum level health insurance. I was sick all the time, and I was on like every single drug that they wanted to experiment with on me. And
You're that
and
cough.
then when I quit is when I started getting healthy, and it's
Isn't it crazy?
when I quit
when I-
going to the doctors.
Right? That's I know. I mean, if I was going down the path that they wanted me to go on, I'd be in heart meds, thyroid, and
Mhm.
asthma meds. I was
You
like,
know why they call it practicing medicine, right?
just because you're just
They don't know
practicing.
what the hell they're doing. They really don't.
Well, I
And
just
the scary
like
thing is, though, people don't want to admit that because then they also have to admit that they have to be responsible for their own health. They, the people that are
hey,
now admitting that the doctors are practicing on them.
I have friends of mine, and I mean, a dear friend. I love them to death, and they said, like, oh my God, you can't say these things out loud. My kid is on Prozac, and she's happier now, and she's so much better to be around.
Well, yeah, she doesn't have feelings anymore. So yeah, she's more even because she's like less human. The number one thing you have to follow your emotional guidance system. If the things that you do don't make you feel good and then you wonder why you're depressed, you don't have to wonder because the things that you're doing are not making you feel good.
But what I find fascinating is that when you'll be on all the sodas, the candies, the red dye number 40, the yellow, the blue, which are the horrible ones,
Mm.
and then be sick and be on the meds. When really like you could clean up all that stuff. I think it's maybe just the lazy factor. Like you don't want to actually clean up you don't want to believe that what you're eating is poisoning you. Is that it? I mean, I just don't.
Well, I think a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
this stuff is designed to be addictive. I mean, people
Yeah.
are really. I mean, because when you talk about fast food, like it's just
It's
I don't know.
addictive.
So much of it just doesn't taste good. It doesn't smell good. I mean, sometimes they do a good
Right.
job. I mean, I'm sure that somebody could put a lot of arguments in that whatever fast food thing is good, but not compared to a tomahawk,
Oh, that's my favorite.
not compared to, a legitimate restaurant it doesn't even have to be fancy, just like a restaurant that's using real citrus fruits to season the chicken, although I don't recommend bird, or just using good salt and grass-fed meats or meats that were raised with care, with just good salt. You don't need anything else, just meat, salt, you know. Yeah, it's
Eating what you're eating, but then I don't know. We're in such a touchy time now where you can't say anything, and I feel like at this point you should say everything. When you're
yeah,
facing, you can't say anything. Like I'm gonna be the fool. I'm the fool for the king. Like I'm just you can't say that. Blah, 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 just said it. Blah, 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 blah.
yeah. Well, yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
and then
It's like
especially when you can regulate yourself, if somebody comes back at you with piss and vinegar.
they've all come back. Here's my favorite. Here's my favorite.
Mm.
This is not the way you should be.
Yeah.
What? This is not the way you should be. And my favorite was I went to my mom's therapist because she doesn't go to anymore. This is a good story. I mean, you've heard it before, but this is just when I'm sitting there and I hadn't seen her in ages. It was my mom's therapy. I was going in for like my mom and her stuff to
Hmm.
support her. And she's like, "Oh my God, I love you. How are you doing?" And I was like, I'm amazing right now. I finally found like I'm working on my breathing. I'm off of all pharma. Because my kid is homesick today, And I'm like, I've slowly getting into accepting yoga. I've come into like really my own. I went through a huge like sadness. I went through a divorce, went through the pandemic, and I've had such like super stressed with Hollywood stuff. But I feel better. But it's really like I've really been focusing on what I eat and how I breathe. And she's looking at me, just waiting for me to stop talking.
Mm.
You know, and she's like, "Well, you do a lot of things." And I think that I do maybe a little bit too much. And I was like, "Oh, what are you gonna say? Like I have ADHD?" She goes, "Well, that's where I was going actually. You definitely have ADHD, like times like 400 maybe, and
Really? Huh?
maybe borderline personality
The,
disorder."
the, the
And I was
person
like,
that writes movies and produces movies is ADD. Like, lady, the one that takes, probably it takes a pill to get out of bed in the morning. She's accusing you, who writes books and movies, to have attention deficit disorder. It's like, I mean,
right,
I would have
this
been
makes
like,
sense.
what have you done with your life that gives you the right to label me with this? And that's the thing too. So many people take the labels that these people that are practicing medicine give them. It's ridiculous.
Well, I
It's
said to
ridiculous.
her, I can't. I was like, "This is really funny because like, don't talk to me about meds because of my science report." I'm like, "I ain't buying it." And she says, I hear, "Speaking of, how you doing?" Nah,
Everybody needs
baby.
some attention.
Yeah. And yeah, I should do that.
Mm.
But she looks at me and she's like, yeah, I would suggest that you get on meds. I was like, anyway, I'm not even going to go into that. I just told you that I'm feeling amazing and balanced through my breath and my food, and you tell me you need to be on meds. And so instead of going into an argument about it, I just calmly looked at her and I was like, how's that working for you? And she literally said this, the therapist, she goes, oh, I can't start my day, much less get out of bed without my meds.
And
And
she
that's when
doesn't
I
go ahead, sir.
that's when I told my mama, you ain't going to that therapist no more. I mean, you
And
can
did
do what you want, but
and she get it? Why didn't I go? I
oh,
mean,
my mom was just like, and then my mom basically went, yeah, well, you're fired. But she went one more time, and the
mhm.
lady asked, like, oh, is Angela coming today? And mom's like, no, like, you can't talk to Angela about meds. She's like, she's super, like, not anti. And the therapist said to her, well, I've been actually thinking about Angela a lot. I went to her website and I see all the things that she's doing. I think actually she's schizophrenic. What? Okay. That's
Well,
also
but
like,
also, how much did you ruffle her feathers telling her that you were feeling good? I mean, that's what had her gears getting spun up on you, and why she thought about you, because she doesn't feel good. That's why she's on those pills, to mask the fact that she doesn't feel good, and those pills just knock down your ability to feel anything, which is, the emotional guidance system is the number one thing that all organisms are supposed to use to guide themselves to happiness and to fulfillment and all of that.
I,
It's a wild thing.
the people that really like defend it and get really upset. I'm like, I'm not here to make you upset. I'm like, I'm just having a conversation. But when they hold on to it, are ones that are friends of mine that I've known for ages that don't want to talk about their original trauma at all, don't want to go there. They're taking the pills to just keep that trauma like that.
Hmm.
Which I understand, but it's also like, damn, how about can you just cry for 3 days? Like put it on your schedule? Like, can you go just like,
Well,
can we just go yell and scream for like an afternoon? Like, can you just like get it out of your body?
I think a lot of it has to do with how people are stuck in an identity. They don't
Oh,
understand
that's true.
identity is just a shield. It doesn't it doesn't exist. So, if they get sad, then they think that that's them forever. Where sadness, if you actually let it out, usually lasts no more than 20 minutes. If you cry about something, the actual act of crying feels good. It doesn't feel bad. And if you can keep breathing through the cry, you can release a lot of whatever's inside of you that hasn't been processed. And this is why animals oftentimes after something traumatic will lay on the ground and shake. That's
Mm-hmm.
them expelling out that
That's
you
why.
know, a lot of people say that Wim Hof method does that. When you hyperventilate and the brain can no longer extract oxygen from the blood because of the hyperventilation, you pass out. That's why you have to do Wim Hof breathing laying down, and then people will shake. And so, like, there's some that
Interesting.
believe that that is the same type of response that animals are having, where they just lay on the ground and shake after they just, like, ran away from almost being killed or drowning, whatever. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, yeah. Anyway, you asking me about breath, and so the pranayama
Breath
stuff.
and my own like my own movements. Like this is like my private hour with you, and I'm just sharing. Because
Yeah.
I've had a big thing with my friends that I didn't want to let go of
Mhm.
because I knew it. I knew if I came for, I mean, I haven't even said all that I want to say. I just started a little to test,
Mhm.
and they ran screaming. And it's just like, well, you can't, like, and I had this epiphany this week of like, my love for humanity and my love for
Mhm.
working to save kids and like my love for people is
Mhm.
much, much bigger than your issues with me.
Mhm.
Like it's like, or my issues with you. Like I love you more than our issues.
Right,
So
and
it's like I'm gonna keep going because even if
I,
you're just like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm doing that. I'm going after saving kids, elevating men, helping
getting
women who want to
healthy,
get better, get like
right?
I'm
And the people that are giving you a lot of static, I'm guessing they're not in shape. They
no,
don't have everything together.
no.
Yeah, so they don't. They look at somebody who's getting better and they want to throw stones. They want to cut you down. They're not. They want to keep you on their team and
Consciously
their
or
level.
unconsciously.
Right. Yes. Both ways.
Yeah.
Conscious. Yeah. It's like yeah. There's so many. One of the I don't know. This pops into my head is if a woman or guy for that matter involves all of their friends in their intimate relationship
Oh yeah,
and
gosh.
then trusts
Don't.
their friends' advice. It's like even if their friends really love them and want the best for them, inadvertently when their time is taken away by someone else, even trying to love you and be the best version of themselves, they might throw sticks in your spokes just because they want to spend more time with you. And
That's a huge thing. I stopped talking about my issues or if I have issues or if I have things I want to talk about. I don't talk about it to the ladies when it has to do with the fellas. I just
yeah.
don't. I'll ask you or I'll just like a couple friends of mine that are men like because I'll but yeah, cuz I saw the same thing.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a bummer, but
Also,
yeah,
I'm weird with what I like. I mean, I don't fit the norm at all. Can you tell?
yeah. Well, the norm is kind of
I don't
gotten
fit in.
pretty far. The norm has
Like,
gotten
what's the
pretty.
matter with you?
The norm now is rainbows and alphabet soup. If you believe in the norm, as far as what's on the propaganda arms, what
That
is the
stuff
norm?
is getting crazy.
Getting. It's already been crazy.
Like it's nuts and it's getting worse. But you know what? That's not the majority.
I don't. I think that maybe in the propaganda it's getting worse, but I think the majority of people, because I do a bike ride. Uh, you know,
Hey
tw-
Jerome. Hey Jerome. You fit
Jerome,
in just
Jerome from the bike
fine.
ride.
Jerome, yeah, that's Jerome. You
Okay,
fit in just fine.
Jerome
He's
has
my
been on my bike
cheerleader.
ride a few times. So I do a bike ride, and on my bike ride, I tell a few. I don't know if it's jokes or what you want to call it, but
Story.
um, stories. And
You're very good on your bike ride. It's very
well,
funny.
thank you. There's a few times where I have to touch on, or where no, I don't have to, where I do touch on like the
What?
madness of the world.
Oh.
And I mean, I've said it straight to people wearing Rainbow Coalition clothing on. and just the truth has a resonance. Like, you can't argue the truth, you know, and they don't. You know, I mean, I've had a few people that look like they were smacked in the face after I said some words, but they don't say anything because right after they're smacked in the face, when then I look at them because I want to see what they're gonna do, and it's almost like they're like, well, that is true. So,
Oh, when you say back when there were only two genders?
yeah, right, exactly. That's part of
Oh, God.
like a something that I say, but yeah. So I haven't had any, and then the thing is, it used to be like, and when I first started doing that, or saying that story, joke, whatever you want to call it, it could like silence the whole crowd. Like, you know, there could be like 25 people
Yeah.
on a ride, and everybody's like, huh? Oh my God, how do we react to this? Is it cool? Is anybody here that's gonna, do we have to, you know, immediately,
Purple
and then-
hair yelling at you?
and then, you know, then over time, it went from that to like more laughs to, it's just ridiculous what's going on.
Because it's
Not-
getting
not-
crazy.
Yeah, so it's like, it's gone from like the stages of, you know, I don't know.
I had a lady
Acceptance.
lose her mind on me because her whole thing was, and hey, Jerome, he enjoys you talking about the history of places on your ride. I don't know if you saw that. It's awesome.
Thanks, Jerome. I'm not logged in, so I can't. I'm not
Yeah, I'll be your moderator.
Yeah.
Jerome represent. He loves it.
Jerome's
this
the student
woman-
of history.
Lost her mind on me, like lost her shit, because I didn't know she was non-binary.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what does that even mean? And also, like, I mean, here's the thing. I'm Southern. I'm a redneck. I want to just start doing Jeff Foxworthy comedy about this, because it's like then everybody just needs to walk in. It needs to be like, hello, I'm Nigel. I've got a purple willy. Goes to the side a little bit, kind of weird looking, but I'll play with all of you.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, like, I'm a MILF. I mean, what are you? What?
So that non-binary thing is, you know,
I don't understand. I don't understand
know,
why
I-
you're so upset too.
you know, I identify as punctuation, a semicolon to be specific, and you know, sometimes people will be like, well, you know,
I thought you were a black
what-
lesbian.
that too. I'm also, I identify as a black lesbian, also a semicolon. And you know, when people will come to me, what semicolon? What is a semicolon? And I just get so enraged. I'm just like, educate yourself. I'm not going to spend, just educate yourself, because that's the attitude of the non-binary by route of being a semicolon.
They are real upset about it too. But see, I'm
Well,
like,
right.
you know, you're fragmented, and I'm sorry about what happened to you as a child.
All of this nonsense is about weaponizing anger and keeping people in sympathetic dominant state. That's
Yeah.
why people call it a spiritual war,
You're
because if
not
you're in a
calm.
sympathetic dominant state, then you cannot connect to source, or whatever you want to call source. The only way you can connect to that is when you're in parasympathetic.
Symbol. Remember Prince? Yeah. Prince.
Yeah,
went-
exactly.
The
It's
symbol.
like Prince,
Yeah.
but I'm a semicolon. So I want the RSTLNE plus minus semicolon. And I get it added to the list.
Thing is, though, is like what happened with my niece. Yo, that happened in my family, right in front of. I mean, that I saw that
Well,
whole thing. Like,
I mean, I don't
that was
recall where I
dead
read
wrong.
this. I don't recall where I read this, but you know, one of the reasons why I believe Elon Musk is going scorched earth is because his son went trans.
Intentionally, or was he forced into it? I mean, people.
What
didn't
do
know
you
that.
think?
Forced. Oh my God, no! Like,
He was born that way. He was born with a tackle box, and now he wants a bonus hole. But you know, so I mean, yeah.
my little niece. Listen to me. My little niece was going through a divorce with her parents. She's 13, so she's got all her little hormones. She's starting her period. Like, she's already totally whacked out. That's number one, right?
Totally natural to feel uncomfortable, I would imagine, when that's happening.
Yeah. My brother, her uncle, was gay. that was her favorite person in the world, right? So besides her mom. And so when she was depressed and she said that out loud at school and went to the counselor. The counselor took her and put her into a lockdown, cannot talk to either parents, even though they're divorced, psych ward, no communication. She came out a boy with a new name. Like this kid, I'm telling you, this, I'm not. And then of course the people who hold the signs and yell about it, like, no, you're just don't understand. She was trans this whole time. Maybe they helped her find it. I'm like, no, that was total brainwashing and manipulation. And she's a female. She's like identifying as a female. Again, it's been 3 years. She got away from the counselor and away from that school, and then suddenly got better. Isn't that interesting?
People forget
A little
how
weird.
moldable a kid is.
And how about this one?
A kid is so moldable.
How about all the girls in this group turned into boys, right? And then it was in Chapin, South Carolina, and it's a public school, and this is happening across the country, Jerome. They're giving kids pills. They didn't give them to my niece, thank God. To actually start the transition without their parents knowing, that is just like, I don't even understand why you think that's okay. And I mean,
Everybody
I don't understand.
that you can't spade or castrate a dog until they're fully grown, otherwise they'll have health problems. So what the hell are we doing here? Everybody knows you can't do that to a dog, that it's inhumane.
You're like
but it's
next
cool
level
to do it
crazy.
to a human. I mean, it's outrageous.
But get this, they're all the little girls in
Oh,
the
look.
group
Oh,
turned
but
into
having said
boys.
Oh,
But
yeah,
then,
go
but then there's little boy that turned into a girl. Like he was identifying as a girl, right? In this little group. That guy did all those girls.
took all their virginities.
Yeah, this is correct.
Hey, that's why.
Me, I blow the whole place up. I mean, I'm seriously.
that-
I'm like,
that- that's why people that are going to prison, they identify as a woman because they want to go to the woman's prison.
but see that honestly,
Lot of
it's like
people
I
are-
made a movie about this. Like, well, it wasn't about it, but there's a
Boxing
character
movie.
who was a trans, and she was a born again Christian. She was like, the gayest gay that ever gayed. She was identifying as a woman. Like that's how she lived. That's not. She's the. That's not. Ugh. It's just so complex. I mean, you and I both know trans people. They identify that way. It's like that's their thing. That may change their outward appearance, but the inside is what they're. I mean, yeah. As
Yeah,
far as
you
like an
look at their
actual
bones.
doctor, like
Yeah, you look at their bones after they pass away, it's very obvious. You look at the pelvis, very
it's
obvious.
just, and I get it. Like, oh,
We're not
forever. There's always been people like this forever. But when you start doing it to the kids, y'all are. Oof.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm so anti that. I'm just.
I mean, if you
beyond
can't
anti.
get a tattoo, but you're allowed to, mutilate
Well,
yourself.
also the ones that are forcing their kids and like we're gonna forcing, they're allowing their kids to be. Have you looked at those moms? That's like a Munchausen, creepy, weird, freaking. There's some
Yeah.
stuff going on there.
Yeah, no, there's definitely stuff going on there because it's Carl Jung
What the fuck?
talks about animus a lot, where the ultimate expression of being stressed out over a long period of time is gender dysphoria. So it's just like everything. Diabetes is getting younger. Totally stressed out states are getting younger, and that's what do
This is all
I think
intentional.
The point, yeah, it is intentional. But the point is that I was talking about my ride is that over time, the attitudes when I talk about that have changed so much towards
Right.
humanity, that I mean everybody's tired of it. I mean it's plain as day that everybody is tired of this stuff, and it's such a small percentage of the population.
It's very small.
But they are not going for everybody. They are going for the children. That's the real deal about it. So people have to, the people that have kids have to step up in the school boards and
I did.
make it. They gotta predators are going to be predators, and you know,
And that
trans-
doesn't mean gay
trans-
people are predators, people,
No.
for God's sakes.
no, but
But that's
trans
what they hear, right? That's what
trans
you're saying.
people and gay people do not reproduce, so they got to bring in the new recruit somewhere.
Creepy.
Mm.
You know what's though? I will say that the gay cruise, Rosie's gay cruise, was really one of the most fun trips I've ever been on. I've done it 4 times. Gay
Okay.
families are awesome. Like families are great. They should adopt. Like they're great. I know many gay families. They're great. This particular moment in time is insane,
Mhm.
and it's
There's
being
been many
puppeted.
moments.
It's being puppeted by some powers that be. It's like bad intentions.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And then you got the people that are poisoned and programmed, that they literally are the little voice pieces for the perpetrators,
their
and don't
parents.
even understand it. Don't
Right.
even understand you're actually.
Yeah, and
Anyway.
the history of this goes back to Nazi Germany too. The first trans surgery was in 1931 in Nazi Germany.
I thought it was 20s. It was 31.
31. I guess it's not technically
different.
Nazi Germany yet in 1931, but it was 1931 Germany, which was a chaotic time in Germany. There was lots of pedophilia. It was, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but yeah, there's lots.
Not
there was
allowed to say
lots-
that either. He'll upset people.
Yeah, and the very first trans surgery was done in 31.
Well, okay.
He didn't live long, but it was the first one.
God bless. I mean, I know, like I said, I know all the trans that I know that are friends of mine are gun owning conservatives and like adamant gun owning conservatives.
Yeah.
Just FYI, everyone. They're like all of them. They're like, oh God,
Not
I hate
that
what's
one that-
happening right now. I hate what's happening right now.
Not
Watch
that one that
Yellowstone.
had to GoFundMe,
Not that one, no.
so not all of them. I can't believe it.
I wouldn't call that a friend. I mean, that's not really a friend of mine.
Yeah.
I know them, but I
I-
wouldn't.
They, them.
They
Is it-
don't. Like, whenever you're anyway. So yeah, I guess this is my health hour with John. That was my oh God.
Anyway, to put a bow on it, though, I think that the adults are like, shut up with all that stuff.
Oh my God. We're just
And I think for a lot of adults are like, shut up about racism too. A lot of adults, at least, a lot of young.
Morgan Freeman put it perfectly. You want to end racism, stop talking about it.
Yeah.
And also, I'm from the South. All of it. And Jerome, I bet you could. Would you agree with me, Jerome? Like in the South, we're all together. We're at church together. I have black people in my family. I got a little black baby cousin. Like when there's a Thanksgiving, it's like half the room is black. You're like, y'all shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think.
Actually, LA is the most segregated place I've ever been.
I mean, live in person. I mean, I think we all get along.
Yeah.
It's
Jerome would like to get along with me more. Let me tell you. Jerome.
I don't know. I mean, is he still on, Jerome?
I don't know. We'll see. I was seeing if he's gonna
have
comment
to
on that.
Say what he says because you're talking about.
I got my fans.
So
Yeah, that's my. Okay, so that aside, for me, with you talking about we are together, but discrimination still exists. Yes, discrimination and prejudices. Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Right, but you know, there's discrimination against whites. There's discrimination against blacks. But as a
Oh yeah,
whole,
Orangeburg, South
as a-
Carolina is like, don't be a white person there.
right, as a whole, we can all find our lane, and generally live in person everywhere people get along.
Yep. Except
Right.
when they're completely unconscious and completely poisoned and not even present in their bodies.
Right. Yeah.
Then you're walking into some weirdness.
Right. Yeah.
I think you're very beautiful, funny, amazing. I would like to get to know more of you. You're awesome, Jerome. Whoop, whoop. Well, hey, we're going live on Thursdays. I've come out. You know what else about me, Jerome? You want to know something else about me, Jerome? I came out. I have a Trumpy bear. And I also love Jesus. not this G. I mean, I love Sean, but like I just like, that I came out with that today. I was like, I'll lose some more friends by saying that out loud. I don't care. I don't care about it. So I have to stay. My journey is staying healthy and focused and like getting better and better, and then not letting other people's fears keep you from following your life mission. Really, I was like, I have let other people's fears stop me for too long. And when you really sit with it, like for me, it's like when you really in meditation, like sit, why are you not doing this one thing? Why are you stopped on this one thing? It's somebody else's fear.
Maybe.
It's like, wow.
Somebody else's fear that's been put into you, so that it's your fear.
Or you don't want to upset them because they're going to get upset, and then it's like they're going to get upset because of their own fears. It's like, well, my love for you is bigger than your issues,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing and continue to get better. And hey, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Angela.
And I want
Dude,
some more regenerate.
Fix the shipping.
I know. I was helping you with your website and then your email.
Get the folks, or I don't know, maybe we can revert.
I sent a whole thing explaining how to do it. Anyway,
Explain how to do, but it's not there. You're saying to add it to the pull down box?
no, it's on the pull down box.
I
Anyway,
sent you a
nobody's
video.
been there.
Did you get the video today? I sent you a video of pulling down the box, showing you that it wasn't there. Anyway, we could take that part of the conversation offline. I'm pretty I'm pretty spent, but this is a good test. Second Thursday we did this in a row. First Thursday where I had all of the streams, or most of the streams set up. I'll figure out Rumble and TikTok next week on Thursday, and then when we have Rumble figured out, then we'll cut the feeds and go to Rumble.
I might actually just start doing yoga while we talk. I'll just start doing some stretches. I'll make it.
You're gonna
I'll
have to
make
get
it
like
comedy.
a boom mic.
Yeah.
Those, like, yeah.
Would
Yeah.
you like that, Jerome? If I just start doing yoga while we're talking to Sean?
I don't know. That could be entertaining, maybe.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. Let's
Okay.
sign off and then watch that video.
I will. And I sorry, not sorry. I mean,
It's
what are you going to say? Like, I'm sorry, not sorry. I love you
Yeah.
all. I love
Yeah.
you more than your issues. How about that?
and everybody buy Loot and Regenerate. It's really cool.
Yeah, God, that loot is so good. Light it up, light it up.
There's too much light here, but they
Have
do
you
love
had loot yet, Jerome? God, that stuff is so
it.
good.
It works. It works.
And Regenerate is the best. I took my first thing of Regenerate when I went on that bike ride with Jerome.
Oh, that was the first time.
That was the very first time. And I have not ever bought a bottle of wine since taking that. So
Wow.
you are not joking that like gets people's addictions and anxieties are just like boop. And I didn't take it with intention of
that's right.
stopping wine. I've had glasses since, but I used to buy a bottle of wine like a couple times a week,
Yeah.
especially having
it
to deal with
removes
the
the
Green
need.
Actors Guild.
It removes the need to need something because your brain is calmer, and then you can get healthier, and then eventually you don't need to regenerate, or you need it, infrequently. You're not taking it every day. Once you get more GABA in the brain. So, all right, I appreciate you.
We get
I'll
GABA
talk to
to
you
brain.
soon.
GABA.
And then
GABA to your brain, and
Next
maybe you can
Thursday.
think clearly.
next Thursday we'll be on Rumble X and everywhere. So
I'm gonna do
I'll see you.
yoga. All right, bye.
And I'm ending.